in letter B, we're going to notice something a little bit different about the expression. They're not giving us n the way they were before, and that's kind of a bummer because I was getting so good at these problems thinking this was so easy, and now I'm looking at this going, dang it, they're not giving me n. They're giving me an answer, which is telling me that t of something is 4, but they're not telling me what n was. So now I'm going to think for a second. I should look at my table. T of something is 4, which means one of the terms in the table is 4. The question is which one? It's not telling me the fourth term, because if that was the case, the 4 would be in the parentheses, and it's not. It's saying 4 is one of the terms. So 4 is something in the bottom row of the table. Which thing must it be? And I'm looking at my table saying to myself, well, it looks like t of 2 is 4, because it looks like the second term in the table is 4. So that parentheses must be 2. T of 2, the second term, is 4. But I'm looking at this going, wait, no, hold on. That's not n, though. N is something that gets added to 1 to give us the 2 in the parentheses. So I'm going to think backwards for a second. If I did n plus 1 and I know for sure it came out to be 2, then I would think, okay, what would n have to be? Oh yeah, 1 plus 1 is 2. So by a little bit of logic, hopefully a little bit of critical thinking, we've now figured out by default that n is equal to 1. So we had to do a little bit of tricky thinking here. That wasn't obvious, and if you wouldn't have thought of that on your own, that's okay. That's the purpose of the video, so at least that way you can see what to do. But now that we know n is 1, the rest of these questions could theoretically be just as easy as letter A. So t of n means now n is 1. I'll plug 1 into the parentheses. T of 1. Well, t of 1 is just the first term. Now this is just like the problems I was doing before. The first term in the table is -2, and done. And in the second question, n is 1 again. I know that now for sure. So t of 1 plus 1, that's 2. T of 2 means the second term in the table, and the second term in the table is 4. You can even, again, get to the point where you don't even have to hardly use this whole idea of plugging in. 1 minus 1 would be 0, so t of 0 is the 0 term in the table. The 0 term in the table is -8. Notice how you can do this just by looking. So it's totally your choice as to whether you want to show all the work or not. But I should make the disclaimer, this was a tricky question. If you wouldn't have ever thought of that logic about how n came out to be 1, then don't worry about it too much. That was meant to be a challenging question, and you wouldn't see something like that on a test or a quick check or anything like that, so no panicking. I just want to make sure that you're clear once you know what n is. As long as you know what to do with it, as long as you know how to plug it in and get these answers, you're set, you're good to go. So finish letter B, make sure that you're set and good to go on how to plug in and use the table to give you your answers, and then we'll look at letter C.